I was fortunate enough to be at Marge's event in May earlier this year, the first Inspire event I attended. And my opening remark was I felt like I was the luckiest person of man on the planet. Well, guess what? I still feel the same. To be one of two men here, this is great. And I told someone earlier that I'm really learning a lot by being around fabulous, wonderful women. And I recently got engaged. So I hope I'll leave here with lessons from all of you that will help me in my next, my transformation into to become a married man in the next few weeks. So my topic is leadership and respect. I've spent about 8+ years researching just the topic of respect alone. And I've learned that respect is kind of a glue that holds society together. But there's a nexus between respect and leadership. So let me start with leadership. We all know what leadership is. I'll use John Maxwell's definition of leadership. He defines it as being the person that others will gladly and competently follow. That's John Maxwell's definition of leadership. I use that because it made a lot of sense. Now, that definition has two key words in it, gladly and competently, meaning that you will follow someone gladly because you feel you're not compelled to. It's voluntary, right? You're happy to. Competently because you have no reservations. So that definition of leadership makes a lot of sense from however you look at it. However, that same definition has two perspectives. The leader's perspective, that's your perspective as leaders, and the follower's perspective, those who are following you, the leader. Now, we've all spent a lot of time trying to become better leaders. And most of the research and publications and tools out there for leadership are from the leader's perspective. But guess what? I think that's the easy part. The tougher part is the follower's perspective, because the followers choose not to follow you, the leader. What do? You don't control others. They are their own individual entity. So what can you as a leader do to get others to voluntarily, gladly, and competently follow you? That is where respect comes into play. That's where respect and leadership actually form a very powerful nexus. So let me define respect, having laid out the foundation for leadership. My research led me to one conclusion. Respect is all about valuation. The same way you value a piece of jewelry. For example, a diamond engagement ring, right? I learned about diamond rings in the last few months extensively because I did a lot of research. To value a diamond ring, what do? You go to an appraiser, an expert. They look at four things, the 4 C's. The cut, the carat, the clarity, and the color. And those 4 attributes, those 4 factors lead an appraiser who's skilled through a methodology of reaching a monetary value for that diamond ring, correct? Same thing with a house. You go to an appraiser, they go through a process, a methodology, and give you a monetary value. But how do you appraise a person? Because we all do it. All right, so psychologically, we have in our mind what we call a value system. It's anchored in our psyche, it's anchored in our mental capacity, and our psychological capacity. That value system is the engine that drives how we assess people and in turn value them. The currency of that valuation is not dollars, not euro, not British sterling, it's respect. And that value changes over time. So we all do it all the time. We assess people around us, reach a monetary value, non-monetary value, and reach a currency of respect. Now, As leaders, what I want to share with you is a little bit of an insight as to how respect, that valuation actually functions, because there are three denominations to the currency of respect. And if you understand the denominations, it'll help you understand how you as a leader should value others around you at the optimal level. The first currency, I also call it category of respect, is very fundamental. The other two are based on this first category or first denomination. And that first denomination is human respect. Human. Why? Because we're all humans. We all share one common theme on this planet. We're all humans, so we have human dignity. We share humanity. And because everyone is unique, right? If you as an individual value yourself, self-respect, at a human level, first and foremost, then you will know things about yourself at a human level, think qualities that make you a human being, right? That make you a nice, fantastic person. And then you see that in others as you engage other people. So if you find yourself to be trustworthy and you value that, meet somebody else who's trustworthy, you connect with them at that level. So our humanity is anchored around that human respect theme. Very fundamental, very basic. So that's the first currency of respect. The next one is what I call positional respect. All right? Unlike human respect, which is instilled in you from the day you're born by those who raise you until you become a mature adult, positional respect has nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. Why is that? It has to do with the role in society that you serve in. Parent, a manager of a group, a farmer, law enforcement officer, CEO of a company, etc. Because these roles society has defined and created to serve a purpose, to help society advance. So when you serve in a role that society recognizes, you inherit the value society has placed on that role while you serve in it. And often enough, after serving in that role and you leave for another occupant to come in, sometimes that value carries on with you. All right? So the value that society has placed on a role, as long as you recognize that value, and others do, you will inherit the value that it commands while you serve in it. So when you become a parent for the first time, and thereafter, and others know the value of being a parent, motherhood, fatherhood, those who know what that value means when they meet you will afford you the value, the respect that being a mother or a father commands. All right? And every other role has the same concept in play. So that's number two. Positional respect you inherit, human respect instilled in you. The third currency of respect, earned respect. That's the one that you control from the time you're a mature adult until you die. You control that because your value, your actions and deeds, the things you do, the things you say, what you stand for. As others hear and learn those things, they assess it, they process that psychologically, put a value on it, and afford you some measure of respect. But you control that. So when you add human respect, positional respect, and earned respect, when you combine those three themes, you now have a total measure of respect that others afford you. So you can see that you can't value everyone equal. It's impossible. Because any one of those three components will vary. But the more the person learns about you, the more they're able to assess and in turn appreciate you more vis-a-vis respect. So no wonder the greatest leaders in the world understand this concept very well because they value those around them, those that they're leading at every level, human level, positional level, and earned level. So as leaders, I want to leave you with one key message. As leaders here, aspiring leaders, existing leaders, trying to become better leaders, always remember to value those you're leading fairly. Because when you do that, guess what happens? Those that you're leading will perceive you as a respectable person, and they'll allow you to influence them. That's how the follower perspective of leadership becomes effective, becomes amplified vis-a-vis respect. Those that you're leading will let you influence them because they see you as a respectable person, and in turn let you influence them. So let me close by saying that respect in itself doesn't require leadership, but leadership always requires respect. To be very effective as a leader, you have to understand respect. Thank you very much.